Global Television, building the nation.
Hi, I am Dr. Baba Ahmed here at Bayes University in the hospital. Please keep watching Global TV on Star Times channel 276.
Welcome to the AM News coming to you on Global TV from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I'm Uyag Mofobe. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has directed the National Economic Council to meet in order to support deliberations on the enhancement of minimum wage and other interventions to cushion the effect of subsidy removal. Governor Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State, who led the oil marketers to meet with the president, said this at Aso Rock in Nigeria's federal capital, Abuja. The president directed that the National Economic Council, NEC, start meeting in order to support deliberations. The oil marketers and petroleum depot operators under the aegis of the Depot and Petroleum Product Marketers Association of Nigeria, DAPMAN, pledged their support to the government of President Bola Tinubu and called for better ways to cushion the effect on the economy. Our correspondent, Florencio Adegoke, completes that story. After meeting with President Bola Tinubu on interventions to cushion the effect of fuel subsidy removal, Governor Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State, who led the oil marketers, said the president had directed that the National Economic Council start meeting in order to support deliberations. The oil marketers and petroleum depot operators under the aegis of the Depot and Petroleum Products Marketers Association of Nigeria, DAPMAN, pledged their support to the government of President Tinubu and called for better ways to cushion the effects on the economy. The pledge to make a donation of 50 to 100 locally made buses to the public as part of interventions to alleviate the suffering of the people in the area of transportation.
States have reduced the number of days workers are coming to work from 3 to 4 days. Others have introduced different interventions. We want to call it interventions, not palliatives, because that word has been abused. But the truth is that those are immediate term and stopgap interventions. Some of us are looking at enhancement of minimum wage. Mr. President has announced today that NEC should immediately begin to sit, led by His Excellency the Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, and the committee of NEC alongside with the economic team and marketers should sit down and come up with a wholesome approach that would be beneficial to the common man and generality of Nigeria.
Both the government interventions and their own interventions complementing each other will seriously uplift the masses from whatever envisaged negative impact of that policy. It will act as a cushion to the impact of this policy. So that is it in a nutshell.
Chairman of DAPMAN, Winifred Akbani, also added that they spoke to the president about having one exchange rate instead of trading in dollars so that the oil marketers can have a free market to aid the creation of new businesses.
He did pledge that the whole industry, and I had the MD of NNPC Limited on my left, and we all collectively agreed that we're going to work at providing real mass transit buses that work. The ones that will run on CNG, which is the compressed natural gas and diesel, interchangeably. And hopefully we're going to start with about 50 to 100. And that is in the very, very short term. And these are locally produced. So you see that we're also providing jobs, a lot more jobs, because we're using local assembly plants. We're not importing this. That's less pressure on our foreign exchange, and that's more jobs for our Nigerians.
The meeting with the oil marketers comes as a result of the promise of President Tinubu to put necessary measures in place to alleviate the suffering of Nigerians as a result of the fuel subsidy removal policy. Recall that the president, during his inaugural speech on May 29 at the Eagle Square in Abuja, had announced the removal of subsidy payments on petrol. The president said that the immediate past administration of Muhammadu Buhari did not make provisions for subsidy in the 2023 budget beyond June. Ahead of the 10th National Assembly inauguration, President Bola Tinubu has appealed to APC senators-elect to abide by the zoning arrangements as announced by the National Working Committee of the party. While addressing the over 43 APC senators-elect led by Senator Okpabio at Aso Rock Villa The president appealed to them to toe the line of the party's zoning arrangements in electing their presiding officers, stressing that it is the right thing to do in support of the renewed hope agenda. The federal government has declared Monday, June 12 as public holiday in commemoration of the 2023 Democracy Day celebration. The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Interior, Dr. Oluwatoyin Akinlade, said this in a statement issued on behalf of the federal government. Akinlade, while congratulating Nigerians, said that the country's democratic journey has encountered stormy and smooth sails, just like in many other climes. Nigerians and friends of Nigeria are invited to appreciate the progress that has been made, celebrate the milestones covered, and look forward to a better future for the country's democracy. The Permanent Secretary therefore wished all Nigerians a happy Democracy Day celebration. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Defense, Dr. Ibrahim Abubakar Kana, has said that Nigeria will continue to strengthen defense bilateral relations with the Republic of Niger, pointing out that Nigeria and Niger have a long-standing relationship which is based on shared border, common culture, and historical heritage. Dr. Kana said this when he hosted the delegations of the Niger Military High School participants who are on strategic familiarization tour to Nigeria. The Permanent Secretary, who was represented by Director, Joint Services Department, Olu Mustafa, said the relationship between the two countries over the years was fraternal owing to the spirit of good governance. The National Assembly has passed a bill to comprehensively provisions for the prohibition and punishment of sexual harassment by educators in tertiary institutions. The Chairman, Senate Committee on Judiciary, Senator Bayemi Bamidele, said the Conference Committee of both chambers harmonized the different positions as he presented the report during plenary session. The proposed legislation seeks to criminalize sexual harassment by educators against students in tertiary institutions. The National Assembly has also passed a legislation to make compulsory the inclusion of preventive measures against sexual and gender-based violence in the curriculum of all levels of secondary education in the country. Let's turn to other stories for you now. The police has sealed off the Nasarawa House of Assembly complex in a bid to avert a breakdown of law and order following the emergence of two speakers for the 7th Assembly. The immediate past Speaker, Right Honorable Ibrahim Balarabe Abdullahi, who was seeking a third term as Speaker, and Honorable Daniel Ogazi, a member representing Kokona East constituency in the Assembly, were both elected as Speakers in parallel sittings on Tuesday. While Balarabe Abdullahi was elected at a sitting that took place at the Ministry for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Ogazi emerged as Speaker from the proceedings at the State Assembly complex. DSP Rahman Nassau, the State Police Public Relations Officer, said in a statement that the action was due to a directive by the State Commissioner of Police, Mayaki Mohammed Baba, after consultation with other security agencies in the state. In a bid to justify his request for nullification of the election of President Bola Tinubu, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the last presidential election, Peter Obi, has tendered collated final presidential election results used in declaring Tinubu winner of the election. The final result was admitted by the Presidential Election Petition Court, PEPC, without any objections from the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, President Bola Tinubu, Vice President Kashim Shettima, and the All Progressives Congress, APC, are the four respondents in the petition. Tessie Otson completes that story.
Apart from not opposing the final presidential election results contained in Form EC8DA, the four respondents did not also oppose deeming the vital document as being read in the open court. Obi and the Labour Party, through their lawyer, Professor Paul Ananaba, a senior advocate of Nigeria, tendered the document alongside several exhibits to establish the petition against Tinubu's election. However, while the respondents vehemently opposed admission of collated election results from ward level, local government level, states level, they accepted tendering the final results without any objections. The collated results in the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory contained in forms EC8D used by the electoral body was also tendered and admitted as exhibits.
Part of the contention is 36 states and the FCT. So EC8D is the result of the 36 states and FCT, and EC8DA is the national result. It will be clearer when we begin to address the court on those two forms.
Also, at the PEPC hearing petition against Tinubu, Obi, who was physically present in the court to witness proceedings, had shifted his battle from words-collated election results to local government-collated election results before tendering the final results as exhibits in aid of his petition. The collated results at the local government levels are contained in Form EC8C used by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) during the 25th of February presidential poll. The 13 states where the word collated results were tendered and admitted as exhibits are Bayelsa, Benue, Cross River, Ebonyi, Edo, Lagos, Niger, and Ondo. The rest states are Oyo, Rivers, Sokoto, and Ekiti and Delta states. Obi tendered collated results in 8 local government areas of Bayelsa, Benue, Cross River, Ebonyi, Edo, Lagos, and Niger states.
What we are making sure is that every document we tender, we get them certified. In fact, in a particular set of the documents, we went as far as, some of them that were downloaded, we went as far as obtaining a certificate of authentication pursuant to Section 84 of the Evidence Act, which INEC itself issued.
Although INEC, Tinubu, Kashim Shettima, and the All Progressives Congress, who are respondents to the petition, signified their objections against admission of the collated results, presiding Justice of the Court, Justice Haruna Samani, admitted them as exhibits in favor of Obi and the Labour Party. Meanwhile, Chairman of the Court, Justice Haruna Samani, has fixed June 8th for continuation of hearing in the petition. Tessie Otung reporting for Global TV.
Meanwhile, in exercising the powers vested in him under the 1999 Constitution as amended, President Bola Tinubu has asserted to refresh amendments of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This was disclosed in a statement signed by Director of Information Abiodun Oladejoye at the State House in Abuja. The President signed into law the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, 5th alteration, number 97, 2023, presented by the outgoing 9th National Assembly. With the signing of the Constitutional Amendment Bill, retirement age and pension rights of judicial officers have been effectively brought into uniformity and other related matters. While signing the amendment bill into law, President Tinubu pledged his administration's dedication to strengthening the judiciary, ensuring the rule of law, and empowering judicial officers to execute their responsibilities effectively. This is the first bill the President is assenting to since assumption of office. In a different development, the Director General of the National Information Technology Development Agency, Kashifu Abdullahi, has said proceeds from global cybercrime is currently $8 trillion and would hit $10.5 trillion by 2025, adding that the rise in proceeds from cybercrime globally signals the urgent need for insurance covers. NISDA boss disclosed this when he led his agency's management team to NICOM on a courtesy visit in Abuja. He said his agency is partnering the National Insurance Commission to promote cyber security insurance in the country. He explained that there is need to institutionalize cyber insurance as Nigeria loses about 200 billion naira to cybercrime on an annual basis. You're watching the AM News here on Global TV, coming to you live on StarTimes channel 276 from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. You can follow us across social media platforms at Global TV NG. We have more stories right up ahead for you. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Now let's talk about business. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company has confirmed that once the Dangote refinery starts operation from late July or early August, the NNPCL will cut down on its import of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol. The corporation is currently the sole importer of petrol into Nigeria, as other oil due to their inability to access the United States dollar at the official rate. NNPCL owns 20% stake in the Dangote refinery. The 650,000 barrel per day crude oil processing refinery was inaugurated on 22nd of May 2023 by former President Muhammadu Buhari, who had described the facility as a game changer. So Adesoji Adesuba Sanita Omole, Managing Director of the new Free Trade Zone in Abuja. The NEPSA Chief Executive Officer said the authority had fully keyed into the federal government's eco-friendly initiative in the operation of the Free Trade Zone's ecosystem, saying the government had made history with the approval giving the first zero fossil energy emission zone in the southwest region at Imore, Amo-Odofe area of Lagos, measuring 115,503 hectares. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria has called on the new Accountant General of the Federation, Dr. Oluwatoyi Mede, to ensure financial stability, transparency, and accountability in the country's financial sector. The president of ICAN, Dr. Innocent Okosa, gave the admonition in Abuja when he paid the new AG a courtesy visit. Okosa said the position of the Accountant General of Nigeria carries immense responsibility, particularly now that Nigeria stands at a pivotal juncture facing a rapidly evolving economic landscape, changing regulatory frameworks, coupled with endemic corruption. He, however, assured of ICAN's continued support to our office to ensure effective management of government finances, implementing, monitoring, and evaluating the country's budgets and other fiscal management obligations. Okosa also used the opportunity to appraise the AGF of the ICAN Index, one of the Institute's innovations to contribute to the promotion of accountability and transparency in the Federation. And on the foreign scene, 300 children have been safely rescued from Migoma Orphanage in Sudan's capital, Khartoum, where more than 70 children have been reported to have died from hunger and illness since the conflict broke out in mid-April. The International Committee of the Red Cross, ICRC, said the orphanage was in an area of the city where the conflict has been raging. The children are between the ages of 1 month and 15 years. They are now at a transit center, and the UN Children's Agency, UNICEF, says it is working with the relevant authorities to identify foster families for them. Saudi Arabia has condemned an attack on its embassy in Sudan's capital. The Saudi Foreign Ministry blamed armed groups for storming and vandalizing the building in Khartoum, adding that the property and housing of Saudi employees had also been vandalized. Saudi Arabia, along with the US, has taken a leading role in trying to engage with the warring sides since the conflict erupted in mid-April. The kingdom totally rejected all forms of violence and vandalism against diplomatic missions and representations. It also stressed the importance of confronting groups that it said were trying to undermine the restoration of stability and security in Sudan. The warring factions involved the army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces (RSF) group, the two falling out since taking power together in a coup in October 2021. Until last week, Saudi Arabia had been hosting ceasefire talks in Jeddah between the rivals. France Interior Minister Gerard Darmanin says 4 children have been stabbed in the park near Lake Annecy in France's southeast. The French police overpowered and arrested the attacker. Regional Deputy Antoinette Armand described the attack as abominable, and French Prime Minister Elisabeth Borne is currently at the scene of the incident. Local officials earlier said 6 children were injured in the attack, but authorities later confirmed there were 6 victims in total, including 4 children. The suspect, according to police sources, is believed to be a Syrian refugee. France's National Assembly has observed a minute of silence and roads are blocked around the scene of the attack. President Emmanuel Macron tweeted that the nation was in shock over the acts of cowardice. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has visited the flood-hit region of Kherson. Zelensky said officials discussed the operational situation in the region, including evacuating people from potential flood zones and providing vital support for already flooded areas and the prospect for restoring the region's ecosystem and the operational military situation in the mandate disaster area. We'll now bring the sports roundup with Fidelis.
Enyimba head coach Finidi George has expressed his displeasure with the quality of officiating in Enyimba's Nigerian Premier League playoff tie against Bender Insurance. Sadiq Abubakar gave Enyimba the lead early in the game after an excellent counter-attacking display, only for Divine Wanshuku to reply not long after with an equalizer for Monday Odige's Bender Insurance. The former Super Eagles winger berates the officiating as substandard, poor and unprofessional after several calls for a penalty on the double eye tackles on Shijoke Mboma were ignored by the referee. The Aba-based club will next take on Sunshine Stars of Akure on Friday. FIFA, in a landmark decision, has announced a guaranteed prize of $30,000 after a groundbreaking move to disburse some of the prize money to individuals rather than national federations. FIFA, listening to the clamor of players, is a step taken towards bridging the gap between genders and facilitating gender equity in games at the highest levels. The $30,000 is more than double what the average salary of $14,000 that reflects in FIFA's 2022 benchmarking report. Back in March, FIFA President Gianni Infantino pledged at the FIFA Congress that organizers would direct prize money towards the players, first for the women's tournament, which kicks off on 20th July in Australia and New Zealand. For the upcoming Women's World Cup, member associations will also receive increased funding based on performance, with winners taking $4.29 million home and the delegations earning $1.56 million for participating in the group stage. Premier League coach Jurgen Klopp has commenced the strengthening of Liverpool midfield with the signing of 24-year-old Alexis McAllister for an initial fee of around £35 million, which may rise to £55 million. The Argentina international was one of the stars of Qatar 2022 World Cup, was signed from Argentinos Juniors to Brighton and has now successfully completed a medical and agreed personal terms to become the right first signing of the summer window. Jurgen Klopp looks set to build up his midfield, which cost him a Champions League spot come next season. Fidelis Eyaguena for Global Television News.
TV came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We are on Star Times channel 276, and you can follow us across our social media platforms. The handle is at Global TV NG. Thank you for watching, and Global Morning begins right now. Good morning.